On this episode of Main Street Magic, we talk all things food as we review California Grill, Tiffins, Homecomin, Jock Lindsay's Hangar Bar, Nomad Lounge, and Yak and Yeti. This is episode 69 of the Main Street Magic Podcast. Hello and welcome to another episode of Main Street Magic. I am your host, Jeremy Stein, and today I am joined by lover of fine foods, John Marone.
Hello.
If you haven't had a chance to listen to episodes 67 and 68, go back and check them out. John and I talk Caribbean Beach Resort in Saratoga Springs, and then Rhonda and I discuss the Star Wars 5K, Spirit of Aloha show, and the Star Wars Galactic Dessert Party. Make sure you check us out on the web at mainstmagic.com, like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter at MainSTMagic. Don't forget to listen to the Capture the Magic podcast at ctmpodcast.com and subscribe on iTunes or Google Play to Capture the Magic. So today we are talking food, and this is going back a little bit. We have been breaking up our recent trip into several portions because I think we really just decided to start doing this with trips so we can go into more detail and provide more information as opposed to doing one episode with 1,000 different things. We'd rather do several episodes where we can really nail down and give more information. John is sitting here with me today. He is not traveling, so good to have you back in the studio, I suppose.
Yeah, I landed at, I think, 11:45 last night. So that got me home, about 12:45. And,
Fun.
Yeah, so back home. So before we talk food, last episode of the Diz Dudes, you and Jared talked Avengers.
Yes.
So I listened to it at 1.5 times speed as I was driving around work.
How is that
last week?
May I ask? Because I've read a statistic that the majority of people that listen to podcasts listen to them at 1.5 speed.
Yeah, I listened to most of them at 1.5 speed.
That's so interesting.
And that it's not bad. Now, the best is if you listen to it at half speed,
yeah.
everybody sounds drunk.
Right, yeah.
Right? One's fine, 1.5. So like Dan Patrick, right? I'll listen to that at 1.5. And then when I don't, it's like, wow, those guys sound different.
Right. That's so
They're so
interesting.
slow. But I just gotten used to listening to it at 1.5. So yeah, so I burned through it at 1.5. It was fine.
Yeah.
2's way too fast.
Oh, I bet that is. So, all right. So what do you think of Avengers?
So here's what I'll say.
Are you talking any spoilers when you talk about it?
No spoilers.
Okay. All right.
So both of you guys gave it a 10, which to me is you guys are saying this is the best Marvel movie there is.
It was, in my opinion.
So I'm going on the opposite end, and I'm not giving it a 1 as the far opposite. I'll give it an 8. I think it's a great movie.
That's
but
fair.
For me, when I slotted it in and I said, are there other Marvel movies that I liked more? This kind of slid into number 6 or 7.
Yeah.
So, and part of it also is, I think some of the Marvel movies, to me, some of the early ones might not hold up visually, but those first ones coming out were just stunning to begin with.
That is true.
So
that is very true.
When I looked at it, I'm like, and even go, so when there were so many people in this, obviously, because of Avengers,
Yep.
They weren't all together. So you had groups, they all needed their time.
Mm-hmm.
And so with that, I don't think you developed a good story, but you didn't develop anything with the characters, right? It wasn't. So I love Spider-Man Homecoming. Why? Because you see Peter Parker with his aunt, you see him with his friends, you see him with everybody, and it builds up the story. It's not 2.5 hours of him shooting webs.
Right.
Right? There's some heart to it. So while there was some heart for this, obviously, it was like a little bit limited. Right, because it was a ton of action, but I think you didn't get it. So, no different than, to me, Black Panther's in the movie, right? I guess we'll say now he's part of the Avengers,
right.
Though I have no idea when he became part of the Avengers.
Right.
Right? He's just here, but realistically, that's one where, well, we got to get him in the movie, so how do we wedge him in the movie?
Yeah.
Because he had nothing to do with any of the stones.
Right.
Right? So I just think that it's almost like when you go, it's hard to say, but when you do an all-star game, right, or something, sports, an all-star game, everybody needs to play, 15 minutes. Somebody, Jordan can't play 48 minutes, but in an all-star game he plays 15, so you get a taste of him, and then, Bird has to play 15, and all these guys have that's how I saw the movie. So the story was great. Obviously, they've already lined it up that everybody who saw it has to go see the next one.
Yep.
Right? So
of course.
So
yep.
it doesn't matter. I mean, you can't just watch this one and not go see the next one.
Right.
So I thought it was good, but real quick, if I run down, Thor Ragnarok, I like better.
Yeah.
I like both Guardians better. I like Spider-Man Homecoming better. In the 3 original Spider-Mans, I like the second one better with Doc Ock. And the first Iron Man. Second one, so-so. Third one, so-so. But the first one was great. And I even think the first Avengers.
Yeah.
Right? Because now it is more of a story of them together.
Right,
so
right.
I just think that this lacked character development except for Thanos and Gamora.
Right. Which built severely on their characters.
Right. But otherwise, it kind of
Yeah.
lacked a lot of that. It's you gotta, to me, you don't have to, but you gotta know the characters going into it.
Yeah.
Because they're not going to tell you anything about the character.
Yeah. Well, and you need to see all. I mean, this is not a go in blind movie. I mean, it is one you have to see all the other ones and remember them.
Right.
In order to understand where they came from, because you're right, there's no additional character development because they squeeze everyone in. And I'll be honest, I fall into the trap a lot of times of the last thing I saw is the best thing I saw. I actually just this week went back and started watching Captain America: The First Avenger, which is an outstanding movie. Ragnarok, I would agree, Ragnarok could easily be at the top. I mean, I thought that was a 10 out of 10. So I'd be interesting for me to go back and even watch them all again with almost fresh eyes and then see where I would still rank it. Because I keep things that are very fresh in my mind as sometimes like the best. Yeah. I mean, we're going to get ready to talk food, and I'm probably going to say a lot of this was the best food I've ever had, even though next weekend might be the best food I've ever had. And then next, so I'm trying to like rank it. Accordingly.
Yeah.
But,
good.
And so you saw it in 3D as well. How was that?
So I saw it IMAX 3D.
My head would explode.
So it was, so it was good. So it wasn't, and again, you and I brought it up briefly. This is not Muppets 3D.
Right.
It's not that. So, it's not, Thanos when he gets an Infinity Stone isn't like holding it in front of your face and you're like, oh, I could grab that. It's not that. It just looks full. I mean, that's it. It's like, it really felt like you were somewhat surrounded. Now, because it opened on Thursday. We went Saturday afternoon, packed house. The IMAX by us isn't large.
Right.
So we went to a 12:30 showing. We got in line at 12 and we sat second row, almost center.
Oh,
so we were
wow,
close to the screen for it, but it it was good. I just thought it was full. So it wasn't anything that going through it and wearing the heavy 3D glasses for 2.5 hours, you're like, I got a headache or this is bothering me or stuff zipping by. I just thought it was just bright and full that you just felt immersed in it a little bit, but nothing over the top in any type of effects like, I got to see that. That's 3D.
Right. Yeah. There's not bullets and stuff whizzing by your head or anything. Maybe I should just go now because I've seen it twice. So even if I just went to see it in IMAX 3D and 10 minutes in, I was like, I can't take this and left. I mean, I've already seen it. Maybe I'll try it because I've never tried a 3D movie in the theater because I'm so afraid I'm not going to like it. And then I've wasted my money and I missed the movie. But considering I've already seen it, maybe I'll try it.
The best 3D graphics in the whole thing is the countdown to the movie.
Oh.
Like they do a countdown of 10, 9,
and it's built
and all
specifically
that.
for 3D?
It's built for 3D.
Okay.
So
That's
it's like
cool.
those numbers are right in front of you and things are spinning and all that, and that's neat. But then when it gets to the movie, I forgot whatever, how long into the movie that I was wearing the glasses and it was 3D.
Right.
I mean, it was just
interesting.
it was
Okay.
there. So good. So now we can get on with food.
Yeah, so you we both tried some new places. We both did some places we've done before, but we want to do a little back and forth. We have several, really about I guess 3 main places each, and then we kind of got a little bonus. And I want to start with you and California Grill, which I know is one of your all-time favorites. Does it continue to be? And was this any sort of different experience or a lot of the same that you've done in the past?
Yeah, so we were at Magic Kingdom, did some rides, and then walked to the Contemporary. When we had some time to kill, our reservation was for 7:40. We went to the check-in desk at 7, and he was a great guy. We talked about the Cubs, had nice conversation. He's like, look, I could get you in probably a little earlier. Just come back at 7:20 and check in. He's like, I'd send you up to the bar right now. And we had the twins with us, no big deal. But he said the bar's packed, the restaurant's packed. So we said, that's fine. We'll go to the shops. So we went on the 4th floor, went to the shops, and kind of looked around. As I was in the shops, somebody approached me, a person who works for Disney, and she came up, and she was dressed. You'll see in a minute, but she was dressed, and she said, hey, excuse me. And I said, yeah. She said, do you have any plans for tonight? And I said, yeah, I do. And she said, oh, because I was going to offer you to come do the pirate firework cruise for free. That I said, well, we have California Grill. And she said, that's better,
Oh, gosh.
but thanks. So that was nice. So obviously they were just trying to fill that or for that night, or they had some cancellations, who knows. So we did go, and when we checked in, went up to the, took the express elevator up to the 15, got off, and checked in, and then gave us, I think they gave us a pager, just to wait till it was ready. So we went and checked in, and as the person was getting our menus, said, oh, you got my favorite table in the whole place. She's like, this will be great. And then she hands you off to the next person who walks you to the table, and she was walking to the table, was like, oh, you got the best table in here. So we were right up against the glass, and like the 4th table from the deck that's the closest observation deck to Magic Kingdom.
Awesome.
So we got seated almost right at 7:40, and by the time we got through dinner and doing fireworks, we had the perfect view. We didn't have to go outside. They piped the music inside the restaurant as well as outside. We can see everything from there, so it was easy to eat and have fireworks going off, right behind you. So great table for that. California Grill still I love, because there's a lot of choices. It's a great menu. It's a loud restaurant. And this night especially, I don't know what, but there were some tables that we had a table of 4. There were 2 round tables right next to our table that probably had 8 to 10 at one and maybe 7 at the other. Yeah. And there were a couple guys there who you can tell they're just loud.
Yeah.
Right? They're just loud guys. There is no inside voice. There is no nothing. And then drink, and they were loud. So that place was noisy for it. But food-wise was good. We I think one of the things that California Grill is known for on their appetizers is they have great appetizers, but they also have like 4 sushi choices. And the sushi choices are great. But Michelle doesn't get very adventurous for that. So the one that she wanted, and I said, yeah, that's fine, I'll eat it as well, is kind of a shrimp tempura roll, and then their version of kind of a California roll.
Okay.
Both upscale for that, but it's 4 thick pieces of each.
Is it pretty pricey? I mean, by sushi Disney standards? I'm guessing.
Absolutely. There is no sushi of the 4 rolls that are available. I don't think any are below $22.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So it's like you go to your local place, and the most you pay for sushi is what, $14?
Right. Yeah, for something with like lobster in it.
Yeah. So the most expensive one, I think, is either, I forget if it's 26 or 28.
Wow. Okay.
And then you got a 22, a 24, and that. And so those were good, but sometimes you get the sushi and right, you get 8 pieces. These were 8 pieces, 4 of each one. But they were really thick.
Yeah. Okay.
So you could, if they cut it like a traditional sushi place, it's probably 6 pieces each.
Okay.
So they're solid on that. Nothing, again, there's some other ones that I would have tried that have some unique things in it. She wouldn't have gone for it, so it was fine. It was nothing amazing. I would have rather have something else on it. For dinner, Michelle had the halibut, which comes with like a cream sauce and veggies and everything. Something I think she had last time we were there and loved it again.
Yeah.
So it was really good. And then I did the ahi tuna steak, just seared raw, rare, and it was good. It was 3 pieces, so it wasn't one whole steak. It was 3 pieces cut into like just huge chunks or that. So it was great. So that was well. We enjoyed it, and then Michelle had dessert.
Okay.
As well as the kids, but she had the house-made churros with ice cream and some sauces and that. And
so legit churros, though, not the under a heat lamp Magic Kingdom for $8 or whatever it is churro, right?
Right. So these were probably $10 or whatever, and I think they're not the long sticks, right? They're more of the smaller ones for the restaurant, but she loved it. And I didn't taste it. So it was just nothing there. I was just trying to cut back on desserts. That's all. So, she said it was good, and I kind of held my ground on it. So overall, I liked it. 20% off, Tables in Wonderland. Yeah. She had wine, and I think I just had my regular vodka soda. And so good. The kids had their dinners. Gianna had the steak, which was a tenderloin. She ate it all and was perfect. And Gavin had their pizza, which was really good. Now, one thing they do amazing flatbreads. This wasn't a flatbread. It was more of a kid's pizza, right? It was 4 slices, but it didn't have a thick crust. Mm-hmm. It wasn't thin, but it was almost like the pizza had the same thickness from the middle to the end. Yeah. So he ate all 4 pieces and the crust, which typically he doesn't eat the crust. Yeah. Right? Papa John's, Pizza Hut, any of that, he leaves the crust. Even Disney, you go and you get that thick pizza that they have where the crust is as big as your fist, but the pizza's kind of soft. He won't eat it. So he ate it all and did well. So the atmosphere is great. Depending where you can sit, you have the 2 observation decks. So if you do get a reservation and you're within an hour and a half or so of fireworks, you get to view it. If your dinner was at 6 and let's say fireworks were at 9:30, you're obviously not staying there 3.5 hours. But if you have had dinner there, you can go back up and use the observation deck.
Okay. You just take your receipt back up? Nice. Okay.
So in the observation deck is only for people who eat at California Grill now. Okay. In the past, it used to be open, not open anymore. So now it's just the dining guests. Okay. And they keep it was interesting because they had a line, so they had the door closed. So typically, I would have been able to walk out there at any time. Mm-hmm. Right? Go take pictures, do anything, just walk out there. But they had the door closed. They had it roped off, and they opened it up probably 10 minutes before the fireworks. And I asked why. I mean, why is it closed? I mean, the deck's there if I want to go out. And she was just saying that I think it was a warmer night, and I guess they were just trying to control the temperature and do that, and not have the door continue to be open, closed, and all that. But that to me was interesting because really you only had, you had 10 minutes to go out there, you watch fireworks, and then everybody off, and then close the door again and rope it off. So it really wasn't available for anything else. Okay.
But you still have the option if you are not able to get a reservation and the bar is not full, you can still always just do the bar.
Absolutely.
And is it same full menu?
Same menu.
Perfect. How long in advance did you make these reservations?
It's a great question.
I feel like it wasn't that.
No,
it
wasn't.
We were hanging out with you, and I feel like we were there with you. Like you got them like 2 months, if at most, I think.
Yeah, that's probably about right.
That's pretty good.
Yeah. So it wasn't 180 days at all. Yeah. It was probably 6 to 8 weeks or something. And I think that might have been the only time that they had, and we just grabbed it.
Right.
Because to me, on something like that, we'll grab it. If it works, great. If it doesn't work, we just, cancel it a day or two ahead of time, or if we know longer. But that was, that was the day of the Star Wars race.
Yeah.
So I figured we'd want a decent meal, and we weren't really pushing and doing anything that day. So 740 didn't bother us. So a good meal. I always recommend California Grill, and I definitely recommend it if you can get a discount, because again, takes your $25 sushi and knocks it down to 20.
Right.
If you do it math wise.
You can stomach it a little bit more,
yeah,
I think. But well, that's good. Well, we first one on my list was, and this is of course one of my favorites, and I've talked about this a lot, is Jock Lindsay's Hangar Bar. Now, we did this Thursday when we got into town because we were specifically going to Disney Springs to do the Void virtual reality Star Wars. I was taking Rhonda to do that for her first time, and we wanted to grab something to eat beforehand. Didn't have reservations for anything. We didn't want it to be somewhere that was going to take too long, so I just said, you know what? Jock Lindsay's has a revamped menu. This has been pretty recently that they changed most everything. So we thought we'd go there, check it out. And it's still all small plates, appetizers. One thing that is not there anymore, which I was really surprised by, and I just had this in January, so I know this change is recent, is the wings. I used to really, really like their wings. You could get them in 3 different spice levels. Those are gone. But 2 of the new items that we tried, one, they're calling their Old World Pizza of San Marco. It's a rectangular deep dish pizza. Pepperoni. It's good. I mean, as far as a deep dish pizza goes, it's very, very good. And this was $12, 8 pieces. Probably, I don't know. It was probably like 9 by 12 in size or something. I mean, a decent size. So we were taking a while for our food to come out, and she comes out and says, well, they burnt your pizza. So I said it was unacceptable, and they're making you another one. So it took a little while to get the food, but at the end of the night, we found that she took the pizza completely off the check, which was nice.
How many places can we get pizza at Disney Springs now?
All of them.
Yeah, every restaurant.
I mean, heck, you can get a tuna pizza at Morimoto. I mean, I know that's not a pizza, but
right.
you literally, I think, can get pizza.
Yeah, Wolfgang
everywhere.
Puck Express.
Yep.
You can get
it. Blaze there. You can
Blaze.
get it at Rainforest, T-Rex.
Yeah. The other quick service now with Enzo's or whatever.
Yep.
Right there.
They've got the Pizza Ponte.
Yeah.
It's got slices to go. The only thing that I think is good is at least at Disney Springs, they are different pizzas.
Right.
You know, you go into any of the parks, you go into any of the hotels, and they're all that exact same frozen, I'm just going to call it DiGiorno pizza.
Right.
It's standard frozen pizza. So at least these are getting something a little different. So this was good. I mean, I could see getting this again. I'm not going to rush there specifically for the pizza. But the other thing we had was the Nang Tao spicy popcorn chicken. So what are you thinking when you hear popcorn chicken?
Yeah, just little breaded pieces and
you would be incorrect
Korean
here.
sauce.
This is literally a bucket of popcorn that has seasoning on it, and then giant skewers of breaded chicken tenders coated in a spicy sauce are kind of jammed into it, and some of the sauce drips down onto the popcorn. It was incredible. Like the chicken was fried chicken with a sauce on it. The popcorn was amazing. Like I asked them, do they bag that popcorn and sell it? Because it was that good. Like it was spicy, but then you got a little sweetness from the sauce of the chicken. It was very different. Like it was nothing I expected. And they're really going for I don't know, bacon on a clothesline type of presentation by bringing you a metal bucket, handle and all, filled with popcorn and all the stuff put in there. But, we had those. Rhonda had a Mick Ultra. I had, I think they had a Hefeweizen. I did not go with the Schopenhofer. But beer was good. We sat outside. It was a perfect night to sit outside. You can overlook Boathouse and see the amphibicars going into the water. You have a clear, full view of Saratoga Springs, which is a beautiful resort when you're looking at it from Disney Springs. So the new menu looks pretty good. They've got some additional sliders they didn't have on it before. They still have the soft pretzels that they've had, which are pretty decent. They've got a queso fundido. Pretty good menu. It's not somewhere. Now we made a meal out of it, but it's not somewhere I would really go for a meal. This is more of a drinks and apps with a group of people type of place, and I still think it's that type of atmosphere.
So let me ask, so how many chicken tenders with the popcorn?
It was, they might have actually been 2 on a skewer, and there were 3 skewers.
Okay.
It was actually a decent amount of chicken. I would say it was a good, I don't think they're all one piece. It was like getting 6 okay sized chicken tenders. So it was a pretty decent size, and that was $11.
Oh, not bad at
Yeah.
all.
So their pricing is not horrible. You certainly could make a meal out of it. I mean, that pizza is a meal for someone if somebody eats the whole thing, you know. So, but I like, and you'll see when I review the next place, Ron and I oftentimes will go to full restaurants and eat nothing but appetizers. I mean, we do that at our local place here. We'll go hang out, have some drinks, and end up ordering 3 or 4 different appetizers as opposed to whole meals.
Right.
Usually it comes out maybe a little bit more expensive, but you can still get a decent amount of food and you get to try a lot of different things. Now, you and I go to Disney all the time. I don't think it's as necessary that we try tons of different things because chances are we could easily go back. But we like to try different restaurants each time we go. So if we're going to go to one, I like to try a lot of different things, you know?
Kid friendly?
Yes. If you're going to have kids, I would go a little bit earlier. Not because there's anything wrong with the atmosphere. I just think you're going to see more adult-driven, patrons in the evening. We have gone in the evening before when they actually put tables out front, which I think is a little more kid-friendly. And I do think if you sit outside on the deck, it's a little more kid-friendly. Otherwise, inside is a very small, half of it is a bar, type of atmosphere. I mean, if you're going to go there at 7:40 p.m., you're probably better off with kids maybe at California Grill than you are at Jock Lindsay's. I just think it has a little bit more of that bar lounge feel, and I'll talk about that in the next one I'm going to review as well. But this is the one I'm really excited to hear from you about because we haven't done this yet. This was your first time at Tiffins?
It
you
was.
had been before? Okay. So first time at Tiffins. I just remember you telling me a few things about it, and it was sounding incredible.
So I think I booked Tiffins probably the same time as I booked California Grill.
Yeah.
And it was the next night and it was available. And one of the reasons I'm trying to think, I bet you I know exactly what happened. I booked a fast pass for Flight of Passage.
Mm-hmm.
And then, so obviously 60 days.
Yeah.
And then I went and booked Tiffins
around the same
around that. So like our fast passes were, we had Lion King, Safari,
mm-hmm.
Tiffins, Flight of Passage.
Perfect.
And everything was hour.
And you're in a general same area,
right.
Which is very well planned out.
So we never made it to Dino Land, or we never made it over by Everest or anything.
Yeah.
We just kind of hung right there because we got to the park late that afternoon just to hit that stuff. So Tiffins, so right at the entrance to Pandora, you have Nomad Lounge and you have Tiffins. Nomad Lounge has some outdoor seating, and then they have the inside bar seating. Mm-hmm. There are 3 dining rooms at Tiffins. There's one behind Nomad Lounge.
Okay.
And then there's 2 on the other side. So when you walk into Tiffins, and you walk through the double doors, and there's the host or hostess stand right in front of you, 2 dining rooms to the right, Nomad to the left, other dining room behind Nomad.
Okay.
That's the dining room we were in.
Yeah.
Each dining room is decorated differently, and it's decorated either with a lot of artifacts from Disney Imagineers that they found as they did their travels researching Animal Kingdom.
Okay. That's cool.
So no matter what, I don't care what dining room you're in, go look at all 3 of them.
Oh, okay.
So, and even our waiter told us that. So we went and poked, and I would say that our dining room was probably the least visually stunning of the 3. Mm-hmm. The other 2 were great, and there is one that I would love to be in. So when you go in, the immediately to the far right was the best one.
Yeah.
Just looked awesome. So great artifacts on the walls, neat things to look at there. So when we sat down and started going through the menu. It's not a huge menu. But on the menu, and it's not a cheap menu.
Yeah.
So
This is a signature
it is
dining,
a signature
correct?
dining.
Okay.
Yep. So on the so when I go through the menu, obviously you have all your different drinks, all your wines, but then there is a page of appetizers.
Mm-hmm.
Flip the page, and now you have your entrees, and there's probably 8 to choose from.
Okay.
There's a filet for $53, right? I don't think there was anything on the menu. Probably the cheapest might have been 28 or whatever, but you're 28 to 50, most of them in the 30s. There was a bison strip loin. There was a duck. There was a venison.
Oh, wow.
There was, just a lot of things that way that you look at it. And again, I'll be adventurous. Michelle can be, but looked at it, and she looked at the menu and was like, well, I don't know if I want a steak, especially for 53. What should I get?
Yeah.
She's like, I'm kind of stuck at what to get here. So we did do the bread service appetizer, right, which you've talked about on previous episodes.
Yeah, which is different from Sanaa. But it's got the 3 sauces, the 3 breads.
Yep.
Do you agree the one tastes like Spaceship Earth smells?
Yeah, it's smoky.
The baba ganoush, it is. It's so weird.
Now, Michelle loved that one, but she was mixing it with one of the other ones as well.
Oh, I'll have to try that because I don't like it, but I bet it would be. But I like the other 2. I never even thought of just mixing them together. I bet that would be good.
The spicy one was my favorite.
Yeah.
And even the breads, one bread is more of so I don't want to say potato chip, but munchos.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, yeah.
That's really
That's true. That actually really is. Yeah.
So if you know those muncho chips that come, so you've had a few drinks, you're at the convenience stores 2 a.m. and you grab a bag of those, because to me, that's the only time anybody ever eats them.
Right.
That's one of the breads.
Yep.
And then there was a thicker bread, and then there was... I forget what the other one was.
It was like a flatbread pita.
Yes. So,
and then the thicker bread, I think, didn't have like pomegranate or something in it. It had like a sweet fruit
cranberries or something.
Cranberry might have been it.
Right.
Yep.
So, so those were good, but yeah, it's definitely different than Sanaa, but I think it was $10, so, not bad for that.
I'd recommend everybody just
service.
gets it.
Right.
Especially if you're the group of people and you each just have a bite and kind of try it. I mean, it's kind of an experience. It has a really cool presentation to it.
Good presentation. Plus, they still have the other stuff, right? They have the charcuterie board, they have the cheese board, they have other appetizers. Yeah. So you could go there and get plenty of appetizers and you'll be fine.
Yeah.
So the one thing I'd looked at for Michelle, because again, I'm looking at the other stuff. I'm like, well, she's not going to want venison. She's not going to eat duck. What?
Yeah.
She doesn't want to do the steak. So I said, here's a pomegranate lacquered chicken. And she's like, I don't. She's like, pomegranate, it's gonna be too sweet. I mean, how do you think this is, and all that? I'm like, well, don't ask me. Ask our waiter, right? And so he came, and she asked him about it. And he's like, no, it's not too sweet. He's like, it's chicken. It's off the bone, but it does have the whatchamacallit's attached to it, like the wing.
Yeah.
Right,
okay.
So that's the bone that's attached. So you get the
but
wing.
then the rest, like the breast and all, is actually deboned.
Yes,
that's a great way to serve that.
And he's like, it's not too sweet. He's like, you'll love it. He's like, love it. So that's what she ordered, and then I ordered the pork belly ramen. Ooh. So nice bowl broth, right? Your ramen noodles, a ton of pork belly. When it came, you got your lime, everything in there, and then all your lemongrass and garnish. So right up my alley. I loved it. That was really, really good. And then Michelle started eating the chicken and was like, this is the best chicken I've ever had in my life.
Awesome.
And even though it was chicken, she's like, and then the mash that came with it and all the stuff. And that's the one thing that we were saying. Some of the things on the menu, right? I have no problem with you putting them on the menu.
Yeah.
Put what it is.
Yeah.
Right? Some of the stuff we've never heard of.
Right.
Right? It's African or it's Asian or whatever. And they do this at a few restaurants.
Yep.
But it's like, compare it to me or tell me what it is.
Yeah.
And, or you're using, and the African term for it, but really at the end of the day, it's mashed potatoes.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, just tell me what.
Did you listen to Lynn? Testa,
that's right.
the
He
other
was
episode,
talking
'cause
about
he
that
went
with
all
Gico.
through it. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that they had like 3
Yeah.
different ways of saying arugula.
Yeah.
But you're right. Go ahead and call it whatever word you want to call it. Make it fancy. And that's what he's saying. Put in parentheses mashed potatoes.
Yeah.
You know, and I think you and I know, you probably more than me, know enough about food. So when we're stumped, it's
Right.
really like,
Right.
what am I eating? Like, and you don't want to, you know, you don't always want to ask. You don't want to seem like an idiot sometimes, but sometimes you got to be like, look, what? That's what I do at Italian restaurants. I just point to the menu. I'm like, I'll have this. And I point to it. I'm like, I'm not going to even try and say whatever it is. So
So Michelle finished it. There wasn't a single thing left on
Wow.
her plate.
And that sounds like a really good
veggie,
portion, too.
everything, it was awesome. So we took pictures of it. I'll send you pictures if we want to post it up there of
Yeah.
what the dish looked like.
Oh, definitely.
And that. So those were good. Again, we came to in Gianna for kids. Again, it's not grilled cheese. It's not a cheeseburger. It's not pizza. So Gavin had bow tie pasta.
Mm-hmm.
Right, so really spaghetti, but they substitute bow tie pasta. And Gianna had the grilled chicken and veggies and rice, which was really good, right?
Yeah.
Another grilled chicken. So then it came time, right? Kids had their dessert. Michelle was going to have dessert. Again, I bailed on the dessert, but one of the desserts was cheesecake. But he's like, it's nothing you've ever seen before. He's like, get it. And so it comes out, and there is no crust. It is almost like the cheesecake is piped onto the plate
Okay.
in like this swirly design. There is what would be one area of the plate, like the crust, there's crumbs.
Okay.
Throughout the parts of the cheesecake that's kind of swirled through there are little pieces of like compressed fruit. So you take a bite of the cheesecake with a little bead, and that's a cheesecake with raspberry,
Oh, that's
right?
awesome.
But it's just like even a little square compressed fruit that you don't know what it is till you eat it.
Right.
So Michelle's like, you got to try this. This is the best cheesecake ever. She's like, this is amazing. So I finally caved, and I said, okay, I'll have some. So I had it, and the fruit I had was cherry with it, and that, which I love. So it was so smooth, creamy. It was amazing. So we finished, and she said, this is my favorite restaurant. She's
Wow.
like, don't book California Grill again. We got to come back here. She's like, this was great. And then she was doing glasses of wine. They have wine flights, right? $22. I did the white wine flight for $21, 3 glasses,
Oh, that's good.
and they were filled decent. I mean,
That's really good.
It was, so she was paying, I think, $14 a glass, and I had 3 for 21. So it probably worked out the same
Yeah.
on that, but the wines were great.
Yeah.
So I recommend the wine flight for there. No different than when we went to Flying Fish, right?
Right.
We recommend the wine flight for there.
Yeah.
Same thing here. Great wine flights. And those, I let her sip each one, and to me, they were all good. One was better than any of them. So,
Okay.
but very good. So overall, yeah, loved it. And it's been open a while. It took us a long time to finally dive in and go.
Yeah.
And book it. And it was interesting because, again, we had California Grill the night before, Tiffins, where we're going to do, and I told her before, I'm like, before we even left for the trip, do you want to cancel Tiffin? I'm like, we're doing California Grill. Do we want 2 major sit-down meals and all that? And she's like, yeah, we've never tried it. Let's just keep it and see. So glad we did.
Yeah.
Really good.
So she obviously loved it. Isn't that adventurous of an eater, but found things she likes. So you'd still recommend this to people that tend to eat plain, or do you think they're only going to get there do you think the normal person who isn't too adventurous is going to be disappointed and not have an option? Or do you think the chicken is still just going to be the go-to route and everything else is a little bit out of the ordinary?
I think if you're a meat eater, the steak is going to be your choice.
Yeah.
And you're either making a choice. Am I doing the $53 filet or am I doing the $48 bison strip loin?
Right.
Which
is very comparable to regular beef.
Absolutely.
If anything, to me, I like it a little bit better because it just doesn't leave as heavy of a feeling.
Yeah.
A lot of times, it's because it just doesn't have as much grease, I guess, sometimes to it.
Yeah. It's a leaner cut of meat.
Yep.
So again, you got the duck, you got some of the other stuff. So I think for some people, if they're straight a meat and potato type person, maybe this isn't for them.
Yeah.
But if you're willing to say, okay, I'm going to try something, then definitely go for it.
Yeah.
And I don't know so much on adventurous because I always look at everything. They're never putting anything on the menu that says this is only going to appeal to such a small group.
Right.
But yet we got to pay for it, carry it, and keep it on the menu.
Right. So people are ordering it.
Yeah.
That's why octopus is still on menus.
Right.
People enough are ordering it.
Yeah.
Because it's the only I could see though where people, much like the issue Skipper Canteen had when it first opened, I think people immediately looked at the menu and a lot of people were turned off because they just saw things they didn't recognize.
Yeah, and it was the name.
Yeah, to see bison and venison on a menu would put a lot of people off. But I think people also need to understand you're not going to Burger King and getting bison or venison.
Right.
You're going to a signature upscale Disney restaurant where it is prepared by world-class chefs. So you're getting the absolute best of the best, even if it's something I think you're not used to.
I didn't bring the fish on the menu. I think was swordfish.
Okay.
So again, it's not a salmon. It's not a light white fish. Swordfish is a steak type fish.
Yeah.
And then they do have their vegetarian plate or dish looked really interesting. I mean, a lot of components to it. Okay. So Michelle's aunt and uncle, her aunt doesn't eat meat. So heads have vegetarian around. So Michelle texted her and said, have you guys ever eaten at Tiffins? They said no. And she said, you got to go.
Okay.
She's like, this place was amazing, and they have fish and a veggie plate that you would probably really like, and for her uncle, plenty of choices for him as well.
Yeah.
Try it. Great location, great food.
Yeah.
So
definitely. Well, my next one's going to line right up with this because we were back at Nomad Lounge. This seems to be, and I've got to get us out of ruts. Like, we like to go back to places that we love instead of sometimes trying new places. But again, we were there on the 20th anniversary of Animal Kingdom. It was Sunday, April 22nd. We had not made a Tiffins reservation ahead of time. We were not going to just get one. So we thought, let's go ahead and do Nomad Lounge again. Now, like you said, there's a decent size indoor area. I mean, I think as far as bars and lounges go, this has decent seating inside. It's got probably a dozen or so seats at the bar. And then it has a pretty expansive outdoor area that has everything from small tables with 2 chairs to wraparound couches with like a coffee table for a larger group. Now, because this was 20th anniversary, half of the outside was shut down and they were recording. They had Imagineers were coming through. They had Joe Rohde, I know, came through at one point. I don't know her last name, but it's Jen, who actually developed Jenna's tattoo, which is the drink that I had last time and came with my little lotus flower in it. So she's the one who developed that. Apparently she was sitting at the bar right before we got there. I think they had some of the VPs of parks and all that. So half of it was shut down. So we found, I went inside to get some drinks. Rhonda was going to kind of stake outside because it is first come, first serve, and my best recommendation is to get there without being creepy. Just kind of make eye contact with somebody who looks like they're about to leave. And chances are they're going to see you and be like, hey, let's make sure, hey, come over. And that's what someone did for us. And then we basically returned the favor when we left was, hey, looking for a spot? Just give us a minute. We're paying the check. So we sat right as you walk in. We had 2 seats, a little table. We had Kelsey, who was our same waitress we had last time when we were there with the girls. And I only remember that because she's outstanding. They are slam packed out there. This is one where I truly believe you're going to get what you give to these cast members. She moves through pretty quickly with all the other tables, whereas with us, you could tell she would take a minute and talk to us. We immediately called her by name because we recognized her. We felt like we were getting a different experience from her as a waitress than she was giving to some other people that I think were more like, wave their hand in the air, give me another drink and be on your way, peasant lady type people. So, of course we did the tuna again, which is our favorite dish there. It is $14 and I want to say you get 6, real thin slices of tuna, but it's in a sweet sauce. And then you have a very thin sliced raw jalapeno on top of each one. So it's the perfect balance of sweet and spicy. It's barely seared on the outside, and it's like butter. It just melts in your mouth. So we will get this no matter what every single time. And you have your Nomad Lounge menu, which is appetizers, but you can also order anything from the Tiffins appetizer menu. So there are some different ones there. You just can't order any Tiffins entrees or anything like that. So you still have probably a dozen or so different appetizers to choose from. One they were doing that day for Earth Day special was the Impossible Burger Sliders. These came with yuca fries. So it had smoked onion, a tomato chutney on it. There were 3 of them. It was probably about $14-15. I ate an entire one before Rhonda told me that they were vegetarian. Like, I had no clue. And not that they had a deep, meaty flavor, but the texture and the look, and even a good portion of kind of the flavor, even though it wasn't like significant meat, I had no clue. Like, still after I ate it, I was like, are you sure? Because I think this was meat. So they were really good. They do have other sliders on the menu that are, I think, Kobe beef sliders. So I'm sure those are outstanding. And then as we were wrapping up with those 2, we ordered the ribs, which we had last time. And again, I'd like for you to have these ribs to compare them to Morimoto. I think you're going to think the same thing I do. They're not as good as Morimoto. There's probably not a lot that is in the rib world, but these are a close second. These are coriander spiced. But they're getting them from like the same rib supplier, I would say. These are the same thick cut of ribs. You get 4 here, whereas Morimoto, I think you get 3.
3 or 6. Yeah.
3 or 6. So it's a good portion. They're $10 for 4 ribs is not bad. No. And again, they're big, they're meaty, they're really, really flavorful. I was drinking beers there. Rhonda was getting wine, but like you said, you're probably paying $14 for a glass of wine. 3 appetizers, some drinks. We hung out probably an hour and a half, almost 2 hours, just relaxing, just, talking and all. But still, you're going to hit $100 for a bill. We haven't been there yet where we didn't hit $100. Now they do take tables, so you're saving on food and alcohol, which is really, really good. But it's going to add up. I mean, again, food alone, we were in $40, and then we probably spent another 40 plus on drinks. Rhonda had like 2 glasses of wine. I probably had 2 or 3 beers. So it does add up, but I think it's an incredible atmosphere. It's relaxing. If you get one of the couch areas, which we did last time because we had the girls with us, was absolutely perfect. Bar staff is really good. Again, wait staff is good if you treat them right. So I like this. I think next time I got to look ahead and see when we're in Animal Kingdom, and I just need to book Tiffins because it sounds incredible. And if the entrees are anywhere near as good as the appetizers at Nomad Lounge, then I think it's going to become one of my favorite restaurants on property.
Yeah. So Nomad Lounge, I'd say, it's really built for parties of like maybe 1 to 6 at most.
Yes.
If you have a big party, there's a single table, high top table.
Yeah, inside. That will accommodate.
But remember, if there's 8 or 10 people at the table, and you have 8 or 10, that's the only place you can sit.
Right. Yeah.
All right? Because otherwise, you're with the couches and all that, you just can't. You got to wait for 2 groups to leave.
Right. Because it's kind of U-shaped.
Yeah.
So, 6 would be ideal for the couches. And it is all built for really however many people you have. There's lots of 2-seaters.
Right.
Which if we had the kids with us that day, or just say we had met up with just you and Michelle, we would have been screwed. We would have been waiting a lot longer.
Right.
You're also going to find that obviously these larger groups in the couches are going to tend to stick around longer. It's built to hang out at. So just another thing to kind of look at, I think, and be wary of. Now, we've done lunchtime both times and had pretty good luck getting seating outside. I stopped at the bar one time at dinner when I did the 4 parks in one day, and that place was slammed. Like, if I had a group with me, we would have been waiting a long time for a seat. So something to think about.
So you mentioned seeing Joe Rohde there. I know on probably the next episode you're going to talk about meeting Joe Rohde.
Yeah, we will.
And then at Tiffins, when you finish your meal, they give you a sketch that Joe Rohde has done. So apparently he's done 3 sketches, and they're from the travels through Africa and Asia and all that. And it's when you stay at a Disney hotel and then you get the picture in the mail
Yep.
afterwards. So this is just in a different type of cardstock, and so it's a reproduction of it, but it's one of them. So the sketch that we got was of an elephant in that. So that's the first one, and now if you go back, right, you would tell them you already have that one, so you can end up
So there's
collecting
an
all
option to
three
collect
of
all
them.
three. Yeah, it's not like McDonald's Happy Meals where they
No,
carry
you only go
one
up-
thing for a week and then you
Right.
never get it again.
Yeah,
Okay,
no.
that's good to know.
So, so it was interesting. I mean, just something else that they hand out there.
All right, again, I think you had like the food extravaganza this past trip because you ate at three of probably the best places on property. You had California Grill, you had Tiffins, and then you did Homecomin.
Yeah,
That's Homecomin,
you're right.
not Homecoming.
Right.
Correct?
Yep. So Art Smith.
And first time there, right?
Yeah, first time there. So we went to Disney Springs. We were staying at Saratoga. We went to Disney Springs during the day.
Yeah.
And it was dead. There was nobody there. And so we went. Gavin wanted to hit the Lego store, and there were some other stores we wanted to go to. And so when we were walking around, so you mentioned Hangar Bar, we went past. I looked at the menu.
Yeah.
Because I'm saying we're going to eat lunch here. Let's see. So I looked at the menu and saw stuff Michelle and I would have, but really didn't see anything for the kids.
And that's something I forgot to mention when you asked earlier about is it a good spot for kids? I could put a big no on the food alone if you have kids that are picky or they tend to their grilled cheese, their
Right.
hamburgers, and their pizza.
Yeah.
There's not a kids menu there.
Right.
So
I said, oh, okay, forget that. So then we kind of said, well, so I flipped open the app, and I'm like, I could get Morimoto, but I'm like, I don't want to eat that much for lunch
Yeah.
because I think that was Tiffins for dinner that night.
Oh, okay.
So I'm
Yeah.
like that. I'm like, okay, I don't want Morimoto, and I'm like, well, we could do Frontera. Well, wait, we can do. So I was just going through the restaurants, and we were both like, well, we've not done Art Smith. Let's go see if we can get in. So we went, and it was probably 11:45. Went up, and they said, yeah, we can seat you right away. You can
Nice.
get in. So it's not. It's actually interesting. They have outside seating. The inside seating's there, but it's not. The building's big, but it's not as much seating as you would think.
Okay.
There's like a big bar in the middle of that restaurant that takes up almost half of it.
Yeah.
So there is not. So now I know why. One, the food's good, but the other reason why it's packed is it does not have capacity like some of these other places.
Right.
So we sat, and it's interesting. So they give you some different menus. They give you a menu for drinks. He has a moonshine menu with probably 25 different types of moonshine.
Seriously?
Yeah. I mean,
Wow.
it is a huge list. And then they have a cocktail menu, which uses many of the moonshines, but also other stuff. The cocktail list had probably 14 to 16 things on it. And I'm like, there's 8 to 10 I want to try.
Yeah.
That just sounded amazing.
Jeez.
Now, I didn't. I don't even.
You didn't try all 8 to 10?
No, I didn't try one. I think I just got my unsweet iced tea.
But this explains why the
And,
bar area is so big.
Yes.
Because of this sounds like the
Yeah.
place to go for drinks,
Yep.
let alone
And
food.
I even think there's moonshine flights and everything.
Oh,
so
man.
So really good. So we sat, and the Art Smith's most famous thing is chicken, right? Their fried chicken.
Yeah, because it's all down.
Southern
Southern
home
cooking, yep.
cooking. And if you know or don't know Art Smith, he's been on Top Chef Masters. He was Oprah's personal chef for years.
I didn't know that part.
He was I think he was the White House chef for a year or two.
Wow.
And then he has cookbooks, and he has different restaurants as well.
Yeah.
So he opened this one, and he ends up at this restaurant quite often.
That's what I've heard.
I mean,
that he'll just
if-
be walking around asking people how their food is.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
oh.
like I follow Disney Springs on Twitter and that, and they'll show, Art's, at
That's so
Homecoming tonight.
That's
and that.
awesome.
So he gets there quite a bit. They so their appetizers are good. So for the appetizer, we saw one that was like the southern, their southern style biscuit with ham and a jelly and this pimento cheese and stuff on it. It just sounded great, and it's 3 of them. So she was like, "You want to try it?" And I'm like, "Yeah." I'm like, "Well," so not that I didn't want to eat it. See, most of my choices have been I'm trying to just eat healthier. So
This was not the place to go.
no. So she's like 3 of them, and I'm like, okay, I'll eat 1 of them. This thing comes, and there's 2 different types of ham on it. So one is kind of like a sliced or shaved ham. The other one is thick, like your holiday ham.
Yeah, yeah.
Right? And then you got the pimento cheese on it. You got the other stuff on it. And these things are, each one of them is the size of, gosh, it's almost the size of having a Big Mac somewhere. I mean, it's not as round, but I mean, it's tall, it's big. This, you could have probably cut these 3 easily in half each, and 6 people each have a half, and it would be plenty of an appetizer.
Wow.
I mean, they're big.
That's
so
great.
There is no way that is an appetizer for 1 person. No way it's an appetizer for 2.
Yeah.
If so, it's one of those where I ate that, and now I still have a meal coming.
Right.
There's just no way.
Right.
So other things on the menu look great as well, but that one, the ham and biscuit, amazing, really good. Biscuit flaky, nice, but it's huge.
Okay. God, sounds good.
And then we had to have the fried chicken, but I didn't want, so one of the fried chicken, and the most popular one is fried chicken. So instead of chicken and waffles, it's fried chicken with donut.
Oh, really?
Right. So
Like a traditional donut?
like a sugar donut.
Okay.
And they even have donuts on the dessert menu and that.
Yeah.
So there's a lot.
I mean, it makes sense. It's savory and sweet.
Yeah.
That's what chicken and waffles
Yeah.
are, but I've never heard that.
Yep. So instead of having that waffle, it's kind of a donut. But I didn't want big fried piece of chicken and all that. But
Yeah.
so chicken is in many different types. There's probably 4 different chicken options on the menu of that fried chicken.
Mm-hmm.
There's the straight fried chicken. There's a fried chicken sandwich. There's fried chicken on a salad. And then I think there's there's the fried chicken with the donut, and then I think another fried chicken with, the regular southern sides. So I went for I'm like, I'm here, I got to try it. So I got the fried chicken sandwich, and Michelle got the salad.
Okay.
It was good. It wasn't great. I wanted to be blown away by the chicken.
Right.
So I think it's one of those of everybody talks about how great the chicken is, how great the chicken is, how great the chicken is, and then you have it and it's like, it's fried chicken.
Nobody ever talked about it. Might have been better.
Right.
But the expectation is there.
Yeah.
This is the signature number 1 item.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know how that goes.
And so this is what I say on it. It was really good. It wasn't greasy. It was fine.
Mm-hmm.
I just figured the crust of it would be crunchier or thicker, and it wasn't. That's my only thing on it.
Yeah.
So, but the sandwich was good, well dressed, and I forget what I had for a side on it. It might have been homemade chips or something. Nothing major. Obviously, I should have wrote it down on that. Michelle's salad was good. She liked it. And the same thing with her chicken. She said the same thing. Like, yeah, it's fine, but it was, just fried chicken. It was, nothing. But on the flip side, so number 1, I would 100% go back because there is a lot of stuff on the menu. So there was
what are the non-chicken dishes? I mean, are you looking at mac and cheeses and pot pies, and is it like that Southern and roast and stuff like that, or is it
partly? Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So there's a mix on it. Well, we're talking. I mean,
I'll pull it up so we can see what else is on there.
Because see what else is on
there. Because that's what I'm
it.
imagining. Like, I'm imagining when I moved here and went to Rhonda's parents every Sunday, and it was heavy Southern food. Like, that's how I'm thinking their menu's going to be.
Yeah. So, well, there it is. So good, but there's enough choices on there that I would go and that I'd go back and get. So even the picture of that. So that's the lunch one. So
I've heard their deviled eggs are like incredible.
So the bunch of house puppies, I would love that.
Oh,
so
that would be
pimento cheese hush puppies with a jalapeno jelly. So ours were the ham and jam biscuits.
Yeah.
Right. 3 biscuits with pimento cheese, tasso ham, shaved country ham, and blackberry fig jam.
$12 is not bad.
No, not bad.
I saw that
3
picture.
of those,
yeah, that's incredible.
I mean, $4 a biscuit is amazing on that. Thigh high chicken biscuits is an appetizer. 3 of them with the fried chicken thighs.
Yep.
which to me would have been good. And then you start going from here.
Okay.
So there's the
burgers,
fried,
fish,
yeah,
barbecue,
yeah,
club sandwich. So that's
yeah.
Okay.
So not
Several
bad at all.
salads.
Yeah, there's the salads, and then you start getting to the main plates, and even the main plates, right? You're 26 to $30, or 32. Grouper was 32. So fried catfish, a chopped pork barbecue plate. There's the fried chicken and donuts, and then the regular one, a braised short rib, shrimp and grits, and then meatloaf, and plenty of sides, and you go through, and then the kids' plates. I mean, plenty cheeseburger. Gavin ate it all. Had chicken tenders, fried chicken sandwich. So enough things for the kids to go ahead and eat that they're going to find something comfortable there.
Yeah.
So, yeah, there's enough things on the menu that I definitely go back. I definitely would want to go back next time for dinner and try a couple of the drinks.
Right.
Yeah. In addition to the dinner, but try a couple of the drinks, or do a couple of the drinks and a couple of the appetizers.
Yeah.
Instead of the entree, or vice versa. But, so I recommend it. Like, the atmosphere is nice. That's one thing we definitely loved about it, is just the design of the place on the inside. The tables, the lighting, all of it, really nice. So I'll put it up. It's not Morimoto, so it's not supplanting Morimoto as our favorite. Yeah. It's not supplanting Tiffins or that, but I think it's a fine restaurant. I understand, just because of size, where the reservations were, end up going. And then dessert-wise, they have some things on dessert besides the donuts I would look at. They have on dessert a I don't know if we have it. Is it grapefruit cake?
Yeah, I know. I've heard that there before. I think it's one of the other big things.
Yeah, I think it might even be called like hummingbird cake or that. I'm sorry, I'm not up to speed with all my southern cakes and desserts for it, but it would be something I would get, because I just think it would be, to me at least, somewhat lighter, but have some good flavor to it.
Yeah.
Is that all the drinks? So
yeah.
So you
all
look
those
at
moonshines are incredible.
like the first one I would have, right, a cucumber cooler. So Tito's vodka with lime juice, simple syrup, cucumber slices on it. Watermelon infused moonshine with fresh watermelon, lime juice, and simple syrup is another one. The apple pie using moonshine on it.
Man.
Look at the mule shine. So a mule, Moscow mule, but using moonshine instead of
peach puree,
vodka.
Whew.
Blueberry vodka with the blueberry puree. So, I mean, to me, a lot of it. The Florida Crush sounds good, too, if you're a vodka person.
Yeah.
Right? Tito's with muddled oranges, strawberries with fresh orange juice and agave syrup. And all the cocktails are $12, except there's one that's $13. And the sangria is $11. So there are definitely some cocktails on there I would get. And their beer menu's big and everything. So you can find something for everybody there.
So this seems like a good, maybe adult-only hangout spot as well, based on drink menu and...
Sure, but at least...
I guess shareable appetizers,
Yeah, but at least the kids, their favorites are in there.
Yeah, that's nice.
So if you are going with them, they're not going to be... You're right, they're not going to be freaked out by what there is to eat. And the place is somewhat noisy, and the things that they give them, the color and all that, is pretty neat. So they're okay. It could be adults only, it could be family, it could be kids. It's not a problem with that.
Yeah. Well, we probably should have had me go first, so that you were, for the most part, ending on the big time restaurants, because this is going to be very unimpressive when I talk about Rhonda and I sitting at the bar at Yak and Yeti. And this was 20th anniversary. We had, because of the fact that we did the dessert party, we did the luau. I just didn't make any other reservations because we were already pretty deep in for those two activities. So we kind of thought we would just, kind of wing it for everything else. So we've eaten at the quick service Yak and Yeti, and I would compare it to Panda Express. It's quick service, kind of Chinese food. I'm not actually a big Panda Express fan. I think this is better, but I think it's most comparable to something like that, because I don't think it's quite, or it's maybe between Panda Express and Pei Wei, which is a fast casual, which is owned by, I think, P.F. Chang's.
Right. And remember here, for Yak and Yeti is not a Disney restaurant. Right. It's run by the Landry Group, which also runs Rainforest, the Aquarium restaurant in Houston, and they have just Landry Seafood.
Right.
So they have a whole thing. They also run Yak and Yeti.
Yeah.
So it definitely, where you're going on this is they have a formula.
Right. Yeah. That works for them. So we were sitting, we were grabbing a drink at the Thirsty Trek bar, I believe is what it's called. It's right there kind of from Everest as you walk over to Asia. There is a bar near the River of Lights Fast Pass entrance, and there are 2 seats there. Everything else is walk up and go. And so we just sat and started talking to the bartender, and she's quick service person after quick service person coming up, getting their drink to go. And we were kind of asking her, like, we don't know what to eat. We're not going to get a reservation anywhere. Is there a bar at Yak and Yeti? And she said, yeah, there is. It's a small bar, but if you go over there, grab a spot. I think Chris is working tonight. He's a great bartender. Tell him I sent you. I said, okay. So we walk over. She said, there's probably about a dozen seats. So we go over and we go in. There's 6 seats. So very, very tiny bar area. But we notice a couple, again, they're already signing their check. So we just stood behind them a little bit, waited. They got up, sat down. Sure enough, Chris is our waiter. Really outstanding waiter. What's nice, now there's 2 bartenders because they're helping fill drinks for the entire sit-down portion, but there's only 6 seats, so it's nice to get a little kind of interaction one-on-one and have a good bartender who pays attention to you. So he was awesome. So we got an appetizer, which was the fried green beans, which were good, but to me, they tasted like, and I've never seen this in the grocery store in the frozen section, but if you could buy frozen pre-breaded fried green beans that you came home and baked, that's what they were like. They had to me, it was too thick of a coating, and it was just very frozen food breading.
I think Publix carries those.
Okay, well, I'm going to go get some tonight.
But where you go in the frozen food section is where they have like the TGI Friday.
That's right.
All that.
Yep.
I think
they're TGI Friday brand because they do potato skins. Yep. They do wings.
And I think they have breaded.
I'm going to go. Like, I would have liked something that was more of what seemed to be a fresh green bean that is very lightly breaded.
Yeah.
Almost like a tempura,
right.
would be a little bit better. But
especially in Asia.
Yeah. Well, yeah. This was, to me, this was American fried green beans.
Right.
Except it did come with a sweet and sour sauce for dipping. So they were like, there's Asia for you. Right. Now, their menu is pretty extensive. I mean, it's a large menu. It's got a lot of traditional Asian fare, lots of noodles and rice and, stir fries and things. They do have a seasonal special menu, and that's what we ordered off of. And it ended up being, it was the garlic noodles. It had shrimp, lobster, and scallops in it. Big, huge, hearty bowl. I thought it was really flavorful. Good chunks of shrimp and scallop. The lobster was a little bit to be desired. It was kind of like, I think they just took claw meat and almost like shredded it up. So it wasn't big chunks of lobster. Like, I would have expected big chunks of claw and tail meat maybe, but really, really good. We split that and we split the fried green beans, and it was plenty for us at that point. And then, of course, we were still having drinks. Now, we had been in Animal Kingdom all day. We were kind of just looking for a place to unwind. And I'll get in a little bit more about the rest of the 20th anniversary on the next episode when you and I talk parks. But I'd like to go back and do a sit down. I'd like to try some more things there. I do think it's probably, and you compared it kind of to like a P.F. Chang's. To be honest, I haven't been to P.F. Chang's in 10 years because I went and completely nothing to do with P.F. Chang's, but I happened to get the stomach bug that night. And I will never forget having P.F. Chang's and getting the stomach bug. I haven't been back, but I would say it probably is comparable. The atmosphere looked really good. I mean, this looked like everything. I think Animal Kingdom is the best themed park out of anywhere, especially when it comes to the tiny, tiny details. And this continued to do that. Everywhere you look are small Asian artifacts, and just there's so much detail. So I really like the atmosphere. But it's another one of those options if you can't get reservations, and it's just, again, you're not going to take kids to the bar, obviously, but if you're adults only or you don't have the kids with you, I think this is a pretty good option, and it's a nice place to sit back, relax, get some decent food, have a good bartender, get some drinks.
Couldn't agree with you more on Animal Kingdom, except for July, August, September.
Mm-hmm.
It's a big park,
yep.
And it it's
It
warm.
is hot.
It is hot.
It is the hottest part. Well, Hollywood Studios is a concrete playground, but
not the PF Chang's, but Yak and Yeti. So I've eaten there at least twice in the dining room. One's downstairs, one upstairs. It doesn't matter. It's the same thing. It's just where's your table.
Yeah.
And again, it's any of it. It's Americanized Asian food for the masses.
Yeah.
And it stays busy. It's a crowded place. Which is fine, but it's...
I think it probably stays crowded more, not based on atmosphere of food, but options at Animal Kingdom. Because when you're looking at a true wait service, if you want a sit-down meal, we have what? Tiffins? We have Yak and Yeti. That's it, right? For sit-downs.
Yeah, because
you've got quick service and you have all the kiosks.
Well, and you have the buffet.
Right, and you have Tusker House.
Tusker House.
Yeah. So...
Which, again, I still think Tusker House and Tiffins are both better than Yak and Yeti.
Yeah. And we're supposed to do Tusker House next weekend on Mother's Day. I have to see if our plans are sticking, but hopefully I can talk about that if we decide to still go there. But
I like that. I still think the best buffet is Boma.
Yeah. Yeah, we still got to get around to that.
I don't think there's any buffet that matches Boma
Yeah.
at Animal Kingdom Lodge.
Yeah.
By far on property, the best buffet.
Maybe we'll book that when we go in September.
But now, Tusker House is good.
Yeah,
I've
that's
had
what
good meals there.
And I've heard Tusker House is great for adventurers and adventurous who you just want plain stuff.
Sure.
Because it doesn't have a whole carving station that's pretty traditional, and then it has all the African and other inspired flavors. So, those were the main ones we want to talk about, but we're going to throw out a little bonus for each of us, and your bonus is going to be another trip to the longest lasting festival on earth, which is Flower and Garden. I've talked plenty about it, so I'm interested to hear more of your thoughts. Yeah. Did you try some stuff you didn't the past few visits?
Yeah, so I'll give you a double bonus real quick. So the kids and I went to Magic Kingdom. It was hot. We got in the park. I was going to surprise them with a Dole Whip. So as we were walking down Main Street towards Adventureland, I hopped on the phone, mobile ordered it.
Oh, it's the best.
Got there, and the mobile order line was huge.
Oh.
Now, it was still quicker and better than the regular line.
Yeah.
But it is 100% disorganized mess.
Yes.
There is no line. So just think if you went to a deli counter and everybody has a number, but everybody forget the deli counter. This is the equivalent of people getting on an airplane.
Oh, that's a perfect comparison.
Right? I'm in zone 4. You're doing pre-boarding now, but I'm going to rush the gate so I could be the first person in zone 4, though you have 6 other zones to get in front of me, even though I'm 4, because you got to do the pre-board, then you got to do the kids, then you got to do, the
platinum
and
plus.
then and all that. But I'm going to get there and I'm just going to crowd that. That's exactly what mobile ordering was. So it's like
right.
I get on my phone that my order's ready, but so did other people. But you can't get through to get to the counter to say my order's ready.
Yeah.
So they need a line, or it was a mess. So we got it.
Or I mean, it wouldn't be bad like the deli section at a grocery store. And again, people are still just going to be idiots and do what they want to do. But have a big thing that says now serving.
Right.
And maybe it's your number on your app, or it even says John Marone. Or I mean, it could still do, I think, something. But you're right. It can be very disorganized. And everyone who comes up to mobile order, so you do the mobile order, and then when you get there, you're supposed to say, "I'm here."
Right.
Well, you're right. Everybody walks to the counter and presses, "I'm here." Okay, that doesn't mean your food's coming out in 5 seconds.
Right.
They still have to prepare it now. Press "I'm here" and just stand back and wait a little bit.
So not just that. So for the Dole Whip, I press "I'm here." When it comes up and it says "I'm ready," guess what? I go up to the counter and say, "I'm number 63," and then they go and make it.
Oh, well, yeah, it's completely backwards.
So none of the Dole Whips are made ahead of time of saying, 63, here we go, it's sitting on the counter.
Right.
Probably because of melting and all that.
No, but I've noticed that when I used it at some of the other locations that didn't have to do with ice cream. So
yeah,
I still think it is something they need to fine tune, but you're still going to be an advantage when you look. I mean, that Dole Whip line can stretch out to where the Jasmine and Aladdin meet and greet is there.
Oh, yeah.
If not further.
Oh,
so
it's crazy.
Yeah.
So, Flower and Garden Festival. So we went to Flower and Garden Festival on the Sunday, and we really went to. We had a test track fast pass. And then we had to burn 2 other fast passes. So we were there late, so we missed the Spaceship Earth one. Oh my gosh, we're all very disappointed. And then we didn't miss the Figment one.
Oh, lucky.
Which I posted on that one. Again, I'm sorry. Take a bulldozer to the whole building.
Yeah.
I mean,
that whole
I'm sorry.
section needs to come down.
And even for those people who want to reflect and talk about how great Figment was,
right.
Figment is right. Well, it's a figment of your imagination. It's a made-up dinosaur to sell merchandise.
Right.
That has nothing to do with Disney.
Right. It was trying to create a mascot for that park.
And they tried to do it with Duffy.
Yep.
Which Duffy apparently does well in Asia, and now it's completely gone out of America.
Yeah.
Right. Duffy doesn't exist. Let's wipe this out of our imagination.
I'd rather have Orange Bird.
Yeah. The only good thing about that pavilion, because even a lot of the effects when you go through, when you get out, you get to play with the stuff.
Yeah.
Half work, half don't.
Right.
Right.
And it's a massive area with very little to do.
The only good thing is if you're a DVC member, the DVC lounge is upstairs.
Yeah.
Otherwise, the pavilion is worthless. So, Flower and Garden, it's beautiful. Don't get me wrong. But Flower and Garden, after all these years, I just don't care.
Yeah.
Right? It's nice. But Epcot, to me, traditionally, always looks nice.
Right. Those could be year-round.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah, and sometimes
and then dress them
up
for different holidays and different festivals. But
it's neat. But I've seen, Lightning McQueen and Mater made out of flowers and plants for 8 years in a row.
Right. Yep.
Oh wait, we changed the color on this one. Right.
Yeah.
We're using pansies instead of daisies. Great. I don't care. So I'm not saying to be mean, but it's nothing that drives me of I gotta get to it.
Yeah.
It's another festival to take up time from when Festival of the Arts ends until we get close enough to
Food and Wine. Yeah.
Right.
And we've got a good break in between this and Food and Wine. And it would be different, and maybe you had a different experience this time. It would be different if the food lived up to the other festival foods. I think then you still have a reason to have it around at least. But at the same time, why don't we just keep these food booths open 365 days a year and switch out some of the food every once in a while based around whatever you're calling that festival?
Absolutely.
I mean, we're going to get to that point.
Yeah.
The food is not good.
Yeah.
It's not good looking. It's not good tasting. Festival of the Arts blew me away this last time. It really did. Last year, I don't remember it much last year. This year, I was really impressed by it. And not even as much on taste as creativity and presentation, whereas now you're getting a bunch of those cardboard food boats filled with junk.
So let's talk about it. So we when we get to the countries, we head to the right. So we hit Canada first. Gianna was hungry. It was lunchtime, so we get the steak for her there.
Yep.
Right. She eats it, no problem at all. Michelle got one and ate it, and that was fine.
Yep.
Did we get something in United Kingdom? We did. There
Okay.
was
I've not had
salmon tartare on a biscuit or whatever.
Yep.
Michelle got through 2 bites and couldn't eat it. She said it was so salty and everything, so threw it out.
Yep.
It just wasn't good at all. France, we had the best thing ever. So the rose slushy.
Yeah, of course.
So we each had one of those, and it again every year lives up to its billing.
Yep.
That is when that one comes. That all the slushies are great, but that by far is the best one.
Yeah.
So pink, I don't care. That thing goes down smooth. So we had that. We went Michelle in. I'm trying to think what other country. In Japan, they had the frushi.
Yeah. Did you get that?
Yes.
I kept wanting to get it, and Ron was like, I'm not eating something called frushi.
So it's sushi, but it's fruit.
Yeah.
Right? It's just it's filled with fruit. So Gianna ate it. So instead of like a seaweed wrapper, it's like a fruit roll-up wrapper.
Okay.
It kind of has rice, but it has I think pineapple
Yeah.
and mango and stuff. It has a big thing of whipped cream and some fruit, spread. So it's more of a dessert than anything. But they each had it, and it was fine. I mean, I didn't try it, but they said it was fine. Michelle had scallops somewhere.
They had them in Canada.
Then she must have got it from there.
Yeah. I had them there, and
Must be Gianna got the steak, Michelle got the scallops in Canada.
To me, they were it was one note flavored. There wasn't enough to it for me.
Yeah. So it was fine.
Yeah.
She said there's nothing. So we got
But the scallops at Festival of the Arts blew me away. The one that they had in America. So that's what I was comparing mine to, and this did not live up to that whatsoever.
So we went to in America, I got the sandwich.
Yeah, the slider, burnt ends and pork belly.
The burnt ends with the pork belly and
a little piece of sausage on top.
Yeah,
and,
and then the pickle on top of all that. So, fine.
Yeah. See, I really enjoyed it the first time I had it. When we went back, and Rhonda and I had it, and it was not as good as the first time I had it.
Yeah.
So I think it's very hit or miss.
Yeah. So it was. I'm like, well, I got it. The good news is it's filling.
Yeah. It's a good.
So for
it's
whatever
a good amount of food for price.
Yeah, for whatever $7 or whatever, it was filling. And I had a beer there, which was good, that I wanted to try. That was it was a citrus type beer. That was okay.
Yeah.
Michelle was like, I could take it or leave it. I didn't care.
Yeah.
I had it was fine. And then I think that's the last one that we got anything from. I don't think we got anything else from any of the other countries. We looked as we went around, but we kind of had, for the most part, enough to eat, and we were heading towards Test Track because then after that we were leaving to come home, and it was that Sunday was starting to get dark.
Yeah.
Right, a little bit of rain through it, so we pushed through it, and it is interesting to me because you do have to take, like Food and Wine, you need to take each side. You kind of need to go twice, right? Because if you start with Canada and United Kingdom and you eat your way around, you can't have any of the stuff in Mexico and China. And that,
you're making it to America from either side for the most part.
And that was us.
Yeah.
But when I also look at it, is I think the food is... Canada usually has something, right? So let's just take the festivals in general. Canada, to me, typically has something.
Yep.
United Kingdom is usually always a pass.
Yep.
France
has slushy, so you at least stop in there.
Right. Yep. Occasionally you'll get a dish, but not so much.
Yeah.
Morocco usually has something if you want it.
Yep. But it was a total miss. There wasn't even anything on the menu I wanted for Flower and Garden. Now, Festival of the Arts and Food and Wine, it has some outstanding dishes.
So usually that could be one that's worthwhile. From there now, we're at American Pavilion, and you can get something there if you want.
Usually pretty decent.
Yeah, barbecue. Right, you're getting some kind of barbecue from there. You leave that, and I always skip Italy.
Yep.
Because again, I don't need a slice of lasagna, ravioli, or
it's overpriced
pasta.
Frozen pasta.
Yeah. So even I would love to get a cannoli. It's one of those. If I want my cannoli freshly made, I don't want it sitting in something for hours, and then I'm going to get it because it just makes the shell soggy.
Yep. Japan is hit or miss.
That's right. Skip Japan. So Japan's hit or miss, but usually it depends what type of sushi, right? That they have that you want to try. Germany, it's pierogies and Polish sausage, right? Traditionally is what they have. I mean, I think more people get a pretzel from Germany than probably what's at their food booth.
Yeah. Now thing they had there this year for Flower and Garden was a pretzel roll, and it was filled with ham and melted Gruyere cheese. It was pretty good. Yeah. I actually did enjoy that one.
Yeah.
But you're right. Traditionally it's so heavy.
Right.
So you don't want to get a lot there because you want to be able to eat at the other booths.
Right. So realistically, you had a ham and cheese on pretzel bread.
Yep.
Right. Nothing
groundbreaking.
No. I could probably take the average 10-year-old, and if that pretzel roll's pre-sliced, say put some ham on it, some cheese, throw it in the microwave for 15 seconds, and that, I mean,
I'm gonna start
So-
doing that though.
Yeah. Trader Joe's has great pretzel rolls.
Do that? Oh, I'll have
Yeah,
to try that
yeah,
because the
sell
ones
them
at
in
Publix are not that good.
Yeah, Trader
They're
Joe's has good ones. Sell
Okay.
them in a package of 4. And then
China.
China, so usually you'd have something in that corner,
Yeah.
but it's usually at the walk-up counter. They'll do like a spicy kimchi
Yeah.
hot dog or something,
Right.
but no
Yeah,
big deal.
nothing great.
China hit or miss, right, on it as well. And then I'm always the one that some people just love Mexico, and you can see something I'm not. So you do, but it's like, again, I'm to the thing of, if I'm going to try it, I'm going to do something. I want something that I can't do.
Right. Yeah.
Or that it would give me enough inspiration to do.
Right.
And so if you're telling me ribeye tacos, I'll go get a piece of ribeye,
Yeah.
I'll grill it up, I'll cut it up and put it on a nice tortilla with onions and stuff, and I've created the same thing. So
Yeah. Well, and I think now that Chosa de Margarita is open, there's not a need to go to whatever their food booth is. Chosa de Margarita is good. It's got good tacos. It's got good empanadas. It's got really good guacamole with chicharrones. They've got inventive margaritas, Mexican beers. I would rather go there than most of the times whatever they're going to have for a food booth.
yeah.
And that's just become one of our stops. We get the guacamole every time now, just
Now-
because it's good.
Now the extra food booths that
Yeah.
rotate around,
Yep.
they usually have something.
They do. Yeah.
So-
So yeah, I'm interested to see Food and Wine this year. We've got a long break. I mean, we still have 3 weeks left of Flower and Garden. I'll be there 2 more times during Flower and Garden, and I don't know that I'll eat anything from Flower and Garden.
I don't think we're going back. So typically we've always done Mother's Day at Epcot.
Yeah.
And with us staying at Bay Lake Tower this time, I think I've only booked fast passes for Magic Kingdom and possibly Animal Kingdom for Flight of Passage again.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I didn't book Epcot, didn't book Hollywood Studios. We're gonna swim, hang out,
Yeah.
relax, and then the kids are doing the Pixar Play
Yep.
area, which
Yeah, which I'm
I
excited
already,
to talk about in
Yep.
the future.
and I didn't bring it up, but we got to go in there and tour it.
Oh, cool.
So when we were killing time before California Grill, we saw it. So it's on the 4th floor, and they took the old game room,
Okay.
and some of the bigger games are still in there
Nice.
for the kids to play. But that's the area that they rethemed. So you go, they put in double doors at the front. So one of the things for Disney is, okay, getting rid of that arcade is fine, but there's a big thing in Florida, right, that there's been interpretation of laws that if you win tokens and prizes and then you turn it in, it's gambling.
Yeah. So they had to
right?
do away
so,
with all of it.
So even a Dave and Buster's, right, is technically gambling. So are they operating? So this was an issue that Disney had as well. And instead of fighting it like some of the other places, they instead closed this one down and turned it into Pixar Play Place for it. So we booked it 2 trips ago, walked up to concierge and booked it and paid for it. No discount yet. You're there. They feed them dinner, have it. But so we walked in there and they let us go through and look. So a lot of video games, but then they were telling us just the activities, right? Of what characters come in and how they do some activities around the characters.
Nice.
So it's actually kind of neat when you walk in. We'll talk more about it when we actually do it. But the door from Monsters, Inc. is right there.
Oh,
You
no,
know,
that's cool.
So, yeah, I mean, you don't do anything with it. It's just it's a visual, right? It's just there, but it's kind of neat, right?
is cool.
So that's just there. But then, they've kind of redone it all. It's not it's size-wise same as kind of the other places. Probably smaller than Sandcastle Club.
Yeah.
And in that, because you just have that arcade you're working with. But yeah, so we took it. So they let us go in there because they were just opening up and
That's cool.
kind of look around and then go. So
Yeah.
neat. We'll look forward to that. But yeah, and then we have Victoria and Albert's.
Right.
So that's what the trip will be around.
No, I'm excited to hear about those on some future episodes. And before we wrap up, I just want to mention my bonus item, which was introduced not too long ago at Baseline Tap House, another one of our favorite spots to sit, grab a drink, and some appetizers. And it's the coffee rubbed ribeye steak puff, which sounds fancy. It is basically an upscale Philly cheesesteak, and it was really, really good. This is $11, comes with a little olive salad on the side. We split this. Don't split this. get one for yourself. You're going to want to eat the whole thing. Like, we almost went and ordered another one because it was that good. And then we finally had the charcuterie plate, which I'm sure you would have really enjoyed. Lots of different options, lots of different flavors you can put together. Had a really good chorizo on it, like 3 different cheeses, a goat cheese, had a blue cheese, just very, very flavorful. But Baseline, I think, is another great spot to sit, relax. It's probably going to be on my list for an upcoming episode we're looking at doing about people watching, because it has a great outdoor area. But I think that's it. We got we'll talk some more food, I'm sure, coming up on these future episodes, because I tell you, one thing we do love to do at Disney is eat. They have some of the best places around. So yeah, don't overlook any of that type of stuff. And go out on social media. Let us know some of your favorite spots, to eat, or give us, I'd really like to hear from some other people that have eaten at Tiffins and had some of the other items, and if they enjoyed them as much as you guys enjoyed yours. I'm guessing they did, but I have to look at booking that here sometime soon. So
and then the things we ate at Tiffins, we'll post the pictures up.
Yeah,
and
we'll put all those up, and this'll be exciting. But make sure you tune in. Go ahead and listen to the last 2 from our trip review, where we covered resorts, we covered add-ons, and then on our next episode, we're going to talk about our days in the park, and I'll talk a little bit about Animal Kingdom's 20th anniversary from April 22nd that we got to experience. Make sure you go out on iTunes and subscribe to the show, and if you're doing that, you might as well just leave us a rating and review, because it's really going to help the show grow. That's all we have. We'll see you real soon.